Okay, let's dive in. Today we're looking at From Here to the Great Unknown. It's the memoir of Lisa Marie Presley, and it's incredibly raw and personal.
It really is.
You might think you know her story from, all the headlines over the years, but our goal today is really to get past that noise,
Yeah.
to find the emotional truth she shared before she passed away, and what makes this book so unique, so extraordinary.
Well, what's really striking is that it isn't your typical polished celebrity memoir.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Lisa Marie actually started recording hours and hours of conversations, really unscripted, very personal stuff meant for this book.
Wow.
But tragically, she died before she could finish it.
Right, so it wasn't finished by her.
No.
So the task then fell to her daughter, Riley Keough, to basically pick up all those pieces, the tapes, journals, notes, everything.
Exactly. Riley had to take all this material and weave it together to complete her mother's story.
And Riley's preface, it sets such a powerful tone. She warns you right up front, this book isn't easy reading.
No easy answers.
No, it won't make anyone look perfect, doesn't tie everything up neatly, but she promises it will be true, and that her mother, who she says felt everything too much, finally gets to be understood. That sounds like a heavy responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Riley talks about finding these recordings.
Yeah.
Just hours of her mom's voice, totally raw. She listened, she said, through tears, through flashbacks, memories that were just almost too painful to touch.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and she described it feeling like her mom was still talking to her,
Yeah.
like a conversation happening across time. She just couldn't walk away.
Wow.
Especially after a lifetime of her mother being so misunderstood, misrepresented by the press, Riley felt she had to see it through. Couldn't leave that story hanging.
That's an incredible thing to take on. Riley mentioned something powerful, that her mother was constitutionally incapable of hiding anything from her. How does that kind of brutal honesty show up in the book, especially talking about icons like Elvis or even her own mother, Priscilla?
Oh, it's right there on the page. Lisa Marie holds basically nothing back. Not about the complex stuff with Elvis, not about how strained things were with Priscilla, not about her own struggles with addiction or trauma or being a mom.
It's all out there.
Yeah, she's just laying bare this life lived in this unbelievable spotlight. And Riley didn't try to clean it up. She talks about choosing to just let the wounds breathe.
Ridding the wounds breathe.
Yeah, allowing the mess, the contradictions, all the pain, but also the beauty to just exist as it was.
So the book opens, and it doesn't start, chronologically with her birth. It starts with Graceland, specifically the upstairs part of Graceland. Why there? What was so important about that private space for her?
She calls it their safe space, their bubble, their little kingdom above all the noise downstairs, totally off limits to anyone else, just her suite and Elvis's room.
Right.
And for her, it was this place of immense freedom, comfort, but also a chaotic kind of love. She paints this picture of herself as this little wild princess up there. Loud, totally untouchable. She had this baby blue golf cart with her name on it, drove it like a maniac apparently, wrecking fences, bossing the staff around.
Oh, hurry.
Oh, yeah. And if they didn't listen, she'd threaten to go get daddy. And
Yeah.
apparently that always worked.
It's so clear from her words. He just adored her. She felt it everywhere, she says. He let her stay up till 4 a.m., eat anything she wanted, even throw stink bombs in the kitchen.
Right. Total freedom.
She knew he wasn't perfect, but to her, he was just magic. There's that story, it's kind of funny but also sad, about waking up and seeing a rat in her stuffed animals.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Instead of screaming, she runs to get Elvis. And he marches in, shirtless, holding a nightstick like some kind of warrior, shouting, "God damn son of a bitch,
Yeah.
chasing this rat."
It's such a vivid image, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really shows how close they were.
Definitely.
But what's really interesting, I think, is how the book also shows the darkness beneath that. Graceland upstairs. It was also a hiding place, a bunker.
For Elvis.
Yeah. He didn't just be up there because he liked it. He stayed up there because he couldn't really face the world outside sometimes. Lisa was his light, she says, but he was dimming.
Even as a kid, she noticed.
She noticed the mood swings, saw the pills, knew about the dark nights. She was too young to really label it, but she knew. When he was sad, he hid. When he was happy, he gave her everything. And that inconsistency. Lisa realized later how much that shaped her own ideas about love and relationships.
So, wow, even as a little kid, she's absorbing this incredibly complex, emotional world. She doesn't call it abuse, never blames him, but you really start to get the weight she was carrying.
Exactly. Graceland wasn't just a house, it was like a mirror for her. The upstairs reflected everything she loved, but also everything she was about to lose.
To the world, Elvis Presley was the king. But to Lisa Marie, He was like a god, wasn't he? But a very human one.
Absolutely. She writes, he could change the weather. And she means it literally.
Not just a metaphor.
No. His mood set the temperature for the whole house. If he was calm, everything felt light. If he was angry, clouds gathered. It shows that immense pull he had.
He wasn't just a man. He was a force of nature to her.
Right. But the way she tells it, she never puts him on some pedestal. She shows you who he was to her. Funny, impulsive, unpredictable, fiercely protective, but also really vulnerable.
Yeah.
She remembers doing anything just to make him laugh. That laugh became like her currency, you know?
Like that time she made fun of how fans yelled, Elvis!
Exactly. And he just burst out laughing. And in that moment, she felt safe, seen.
But when he was disappointed, even a small telling off, she says, felt like the world was ending.
Yeah, she couldn't bear letting him down. It shows that deep, deep connection.
Yeah.
She wasn't just his daughter. She was, like, emotionally fused to him.
His joy was her joy. His sadness was her sadness.
Right. And when you grow up constantly tuned into someone else's emotional weather like that, you don't really learn boundaries. You learn how to perform to survive.
Yet he could be so tender, too. That story about the one time he spanked her after she snuck off and got hurt on a mini bike.
Oh, that one's gut-wrenching.
He was just angry, scared. She went to bed totally devastated. But then later, he comes into her room with a basset hound puppet on his hand.
And uses it to sing Can't Help Falling in Love to her.
Yeah. She says she forgave him instantly. That was him to her. Fierce, moody, playful. A dad who apologized with puppets and songs.
For all the chaos, she never doubted his love. That comes through so clearly.
But then, her memories of her mother, Priscilla, they seem to cut much deeper, don't they? It's not tender. It's strained, complicated, wounded, Lisa says.
Yeah, it's a very different picture.
She tells this story, it's haunting, about Priscilla apparently telling her she once considered throwing herself off a horse while pregnant to cause a miscarriage.
It's hard to even process hearing something like that from your own mother.
Right. Priscilla apparently said she didn't want to get fat, lose her figure, lose Elvis. Lisa writes, I was a pain in her ass immediately, and I always felt she didn't want me. Just devastating.
Absolutely unfathomable. And then to feel that kind of confirmed over and over again. Lisa doesn't really accuse her mother of being intentionally cruel, but she paints this picture of someone. Cold, maybe.
Yeah.
Very image-conscious, emotionally unavailable.
She admired her beauty, the makeup, the clothes, but felt like an outsider.
Exactly. Watch from the sidelines. Lisa says her mother just didn't know how to nurture, how to really listen, or how to hold her when she was hurting. And for a kid already dealing with her dad's volatility, that lack of maternal softness, it left a huge void.
There's such a brutal honesty in how she describes trying to get Priscilla's attention, acting out, screaming, breaking things, anything just to be seen.
And it didn't work.
No. And worse, she often felt Priscilla prioritized protecting Elvis's image over her own experiences. Lisa writes that when she tried to talk about what she saw upstairs, what she lived through, her mother would just shut it down, deny it, defend the myth.
Yeah, defend the myth instead of the memory.
Does she ever acknowledge the pressure Priscilla herself might have been under? Or is it purely her own childhood perspective?
Well, the memoir is very much Lisa Marie's truth, her perspective. She does touch on the complexities of her parents' relationship, and you get a sense of the world Priscilla was navigating. But the core feeling for Lisa remains. Elvis was human, flawed, beautiful, and she didn't need him to be perfect.
But Priscilla did.
That's how Lisa felt.
Yeah.
That Priscilla needed the fantasy, the legacy, the brand. Lisa wanted to grieve her father. Priscilla wanted to preserve the icon. And Lisa felt lost in that gap.
Wow.
She even says she used to wish she could be her mother's mother, because what they both really needed, she felt, wasn't glamour. It was just parenting, safety, love. It doesn't read like revenge. It just reads like the raw truth of feeling alone with a parent who always seemed just out of reach.
It really sounds like Lisa Marie never stood much of a chance at a normal life. By the time she could even understand it, she'd inherited so much more than just his name.
Right. She inherited the chaos, the mood swings, that hunger for love, for escape, for more.
And eventually the addictions, too.
Yeah. She talks about her childhood almost like remembering a war zone she didn't realize she was in at the time. Seeing the pills, watching his moods flip. She learned early that love felt unstable, and being quiet was often safer. How did she try to make sense of it all later?
This is where she brings in what she calls the Presley Code.
Ah, yes.
It's not genetic, she's clear about that. It's emotional, like a family blueprint. She defines it as big feelings, big appetites, big hearts, Big damage.
That phrase really sticks with you. Big damage.
It does, and it raises that whole question about intergenerational trauma, doesn't it? How these emotional patterns just keep repeating if they're not dealt with, especially under that kind of intense public scrutiny.
Exactly. Lisa felt that code just ran through her. She tried to fight it, be different. But when things got painful, especially after losing Elvis, she reacted the only way her system knew how, with chaos.
And that chaos led to struggles, including addiction, just like her father.
Precisely. She's very open about struggling with depression, self-destruction, addiction. She talks about getting hooked on opioids after her twins were born and how it spiraled. Hated herself for it, seeing the parallel with her dad.
But the most devastating part of this section, it isn't just about her. It's about Benjamin.
Oh, Benjamin.
Lisa's son, Riley's brother, the one everyone said looked just like Elvis. Same eyes, same stare, same kind of quiet soul. Lisa says, it was like Elvis came back through him.
Which must have been both beautiful and terrifying for her.
Right, because she saw the same intensity, the same depth, the same potential storm clouds. She tried so hard to protect him, save him, but in 2020, Benjamin died by suicide.
And Lisa just never recovered from that.
You know, she calls Benjamin the love of her life, her anchor, her mirror, her heartbreak. And in that grief, that Presley code became a prison again. She saw it repeating.
That same legacy of pain passed down again. Not just through stories, but through silence, through that emotional wiring that never quite got healed.
She's not looking for pity. It feels like she's just stating the facts, her truth.
Yeah. And Riley, listening to those tapes, she wasn't just a daughter finishing a book. She was a survivor herself in a family where survival isn't guaranteed.
By the time Riley stepped in, my gosh, she'd already lost her grandfather Elvis before she was born, her brother Benjamin, then her mother Lisa so suddenly. And then to face these tapes.
Boxes of them, her mother's voice just echoing.
Mm-hmm.
Laughing, crying, remembering, confessing. What must that have been like?
Unimaginable.
Riley didn't have to listen, right? Didn't have to finish it. She could have just buried it like so many families do with trauma. Quietly.
Privately.
But she didn't.
No. She sat there, often late at night, headphones on, letting her mother's voice fill the silence. She said there were times she had to stop, just to cry. Times Lisa's laugh felt like a knife. Times it felt too raw.
But she kept going.
She kept going. Because she understood this book was, in a way, Lisa's redemption. Lisa had spent her whole life being talked about, labeled, gossiped over, reduced to headlines, you know, the drug addict, the troubled daughter, the ex-wife, the tabloid tragedy.
All those labels.
This was her chance to finally talk back, to reclaim her own story, her way. No handlers, no edits, no image control.
And Riley knew if she didn't finish it, that full truth might never come out. Riley describes her mom as funny, soulful, generous, and fiercely loyal. Not perfect, she says, but profoundly real.
And that's what she wanted people to see.
Yeah, she didn't sanitize it. She let those raw, emotional truths come out.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Lisa Marie Presley didn't just become Lisa easily. She was born into a story already being written for her.
Right, 9 days old, and the media's calling her the Princess of Graceland. She didn't get a blank slate, she got a headline.
The world didn't see her. They saw Elvis's daughter, a living piece of history, American mythology. And what do you do when the world just wants you to be a symbol, not a person?
You armor up. You hide. Behind sarcasm, fashion, anger, silence. Or maybe, eventually, if you're brave enough.
Yeah.
You tell your own truth.
So what does this all really mean for you, listening? Our deep dive into these first parts of Lisa Marie Presley's memoir, it reveals something powerful. She was a person, not just a symbol. Her story, brought to life by Riley, it feels like this defiant act of saying, this is who I was, shedding the labels, facing the difficult realities of a life lived under this impossible spotlight.
Absolutely.
We've seen her as that wild princess with Elvis, a kid learning to survive by performing, a daughter struggling with her mother's distance. We've touched on that inherited Presley code.
Big feelings, big appetites, big hearts, big damage.
And the awful echo of that pain in her son Benjamin's death.
This memoir, it isn't some polished eulogy. It feels more like a rebellion. A raw act of honesty allowing Lisa Marie to finally speak for herself, maybe for the very first time.
It's a reminder that truth isn't always neat or pretty, but it's always real and powerful.
Yeah, very powerful.
And this is really just the beginning of her journey in the book. Lisa Marie said her father could change the weather. But in chapter 2, the storm finally breaks for her. Everything she knew. The laughter, the late nights, those golf cart crashes. it all just stops.
Because Elvis stops.
Exactly. Elvis dies. She loses the one person who made her feel anchored, the only one she felt ever truly saw her. So what happens when your whole world disappears, when you're left alone to survive that echo? That's what we'll explore next time.
And it really leaves you with a question to think about.
Mm.
How much does the narrative we inherit from family, from the media, from just circumstances shape who we become? And what does it actually take to finally claim our own story?